It's been a couple of strange, wonderful days, and I'm grateful for this trip at the Disneyland Hotel and also 2 days ago in Disneyland. It's been strange the way things had been rearranged, but you know, when you think you're going to do it one way, but it goes into another way, but then you find out it was supposed to be that way. I thought I was going to buy that Mickey shirt with the brooms and the one I saw at the window display. But apparently it was meant to be for me to buy this Christmas shirt. And everyone here is telling me that it looks good on me. And it was the first Christmas shirt that I bought in a long time. So like Costco, I don't need it, but I gotta have it. Okay, to have a little, to explain a little bit as far as communication is concerned, and we'll go deeper as far as that. As you can tell, I was busy today. Very, very important, hard work, recording all of the towers. But communication, that is so important. And with my mom especially, it's like times when I had found myself in some situations where it's like, what happened here? How did we go from point A to point Z? There's a lot of noise here. But with my mom, just to give a few humorous examples about how things can get so weird and so disorientating as far as communication is concerned. It's all good. We made peace years ago, so me and my mom, when she was alive, we'd talk about it. We'd be laughing about it. When California Adventure had first opened 20 plus years ago, and my annual pass, I couldn't use it for California Adventure, so I had to buy a separate ticket. And I just told my mom I was really happy about California Adventure, and I say, I'm going to California Adventure. I have to pay another ticket for it. And then I'm going to go to Disneyland to see Fantasmic and the fireworks. That's all I said. She was mad at me for a couple of weeks. I figure, what just happened here? Why is she tripping? Why is she so upset? She doesn't want me to go. She's telling me, why am I going? And all of that, and so on. But then later on, she asks me, where's California Adventure? And I was telling her, oh, it's so fabulous, soaring over California, and the rock is almost going to hit you, and you're in the air, 50 feet in the air, and the seats move in synchronization with the IMAX movie, and the smell of oranges, and the wind in your hair, and I'm going on, and I'm saying about the Muppets 3D, and then how with the 3D glasses, and Fozzo with the pie. That pie is about to hit you in the face because it's a 3D, and it's tough to be a bug, and I'm going on and on. It was so wonderful, Mom. I enjoyed it. And then she says, where's California Adventure? Is that part of Disneyland? I says, no, it was built on the former parking lot of Disneyland. She said, oh, that's what's going on. I said, what happened here? She said, I got mad because I thought it was the same thing. I thought, why are you saying you're going to California Adventure and then going to Disney? I'm serious. This is what she was upset about and tripping over for so long. She understood where I was coming from, and then later on we resolved that. But it is kind of comical about how with communication, sometimes where I have found myself in some really, really funky, bizarre situations, not even knowing what was going on. And then another thing, when I had updated my camcorder from in 2013, where it was on the SD card and the prices had gone down, where it's the camcorder, so it was like only $200, and she was so mad at me, and why are you buying it, and you don't need it, and on and on. And I said, Mom, that's not like you. You're very supportive as far as my Disney and my filming and everything. And then we had words and stuff, and for a while we didn't talk, but then she allowed me to buy the camcorder, and then when I showed it to her, I says, Mom, I was just in Disneyland, and I showed her the SD card. I says, Mom, on this SD card is all 6 hours of Disneyland, Fantasmic, fireworks, Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, all of the rides, Tiki Room, all of the walkthroughs, all of the rides. I says, Mom, don't you see for yourself? This is what I had bought. This is how incredible it was. And then she says, this is beautiful. I says, yeah, it is beautiful. What were you so upset about in me not being allowed to buy it? What was that all about? She says, I thought, this is what she said, I'm serious. I thought that they were trying to rip you off. When they said $200 in palm quarter, I thought it was that big thing with the tape, with a videotape and on your shoulder. She says, this is beautiful. It overwhelmed her a little bit when I showed her the SD card, and I said 6 hours of Disneyland, and there was no stop and go and filming and stop and reverse and all of that. Just press a button, and then the camera stops. And so my point, again, there's a lot going on here, but basically my point is, and there's some things I need to look at too, about how I had communicated and to make sure we're on the same page, to make sure that we're not always in agreement, and that's okay, that's fine, but at least that we're talking about the same thing. And I'm wondering how many things have been simple misunderstandings, and my aunt had told me, this is what she had told me, and please, those who know my story and who follow, please communicate with me. Please communicate. If this is what a miscommunication, that this is what this was all about, all of the decades and all of the anger and the resentment and all that insanity, if it was just a miscommunication, please communicate. I'll own up to that, no problem. Disney joke, I'll own up to that faster than the line piling up for Peter Pan flight. So that's no problem. But I'm wondering now, I'm having one of those what was going on moments, that all of the insanity and misunderstanding and resentment and all that, later on to find out that I couldn't communicate. Party C didn't know how to relate to what I was going through. And I wanted to give purposely these two examples. Anyhow, I got to get going pretty soon. But this is what my aunt had said, and then also what my mom had said. We'll just call Party C. This is what I was told, that my aunt, and then she followed the story going back now almost 4 decades. She said, Party C didn't know how to relate to you, where you were coming from, didn't know the whole story, didn't know, let's call it Act 1. The backstory, the first Slain in Spirit event, we'll call it Act 1 of the first Slain in Spirit event, which was September 1st, 78, when I was 16. It was a 7-year gap from when I was 16 to 23. Party C, that's Act 2. August 10th, 1985. Where I didn't know how to tell the backstory from the first, Act 1, Slain in Spirit event. So my mom had said, and others had said, that it was fragmented, that it was out of context. Like going in the middle of an opera in Act 2 and not knowing the whole story. We're talking so much about opera now. And then, so Stefka, you couldn't communicate because you're so emotionally tied to this particular matter. Party C didn't know where you were coming from. Okay, now a third element here. Everything comes in sets of 3s. And then Frank was in the middle and then stirring the pot. There was confusion on both sides. And Frank was in the middle, stirring up that anger, stirring up that pot, so to speak, while Catherine is Act 3. But Catherine brought peace and tranquility in a troubled situation also. And that's another story there. And I hope the sound is good because there's a lot of music behind me. So I have no idea how this is going to come out. But I will say this. If this was, okay, so that it wouldn't turn out that I'm not taking responsibility, that I'm blaming everyone and all, no. Let's look at it this way. If this was the matter, I still need some more clarification on this matter. I'm saying if because it's still kind of, it's still, I'm processing it, so we're making some space for that. But if all of this insanity was just a misunderstanding, not knowing how to communicate, I couldn't talk, Party C couldn't relate to, Frank coming up and stirring up the pot, I take responsibility for that. You know how faster than Peter Pan flight is piling up at rope drop. I think that you'll relate, so that's no problem, because again, if this was all, please communicate with me, please talk to me. But before there was no communication, everything was, instead of talking and communication, everything was, it's a demon, it's an evil spirit, it's an idol, it's an obsession, you need counseling, you need deliverance. That's not helping me. Okay, to be calm and not to be tripping, that's not helping me to communicate. That's all I was really being told. And I said this to my aunt. I said that this is all I had been really told, that it's an idol, it's an obsession, it's a demon, it's being told, I bind you, Satan. You know my answer to that. Or that you need counseling. None of that was helping me to deal with the situation. But you need counseling and Catherine overturned that situation in 5 minutes. She would get more accomplished in 5 minutes. She overturned it's an idol, it's an obsession, it's a demon, it's an evil spirit. She took care of that matter in 5 minutes. But also, my aunt was telling me that all of that, look at it from Party C's point of view, that all of that, it's an idol, it's an obsession. She was saying, my aunt was saying, defense mechanism. In other words, she didn't know how to deal with it. You couldn't talk about it, so it was, that's all she knew how to say. So it was a defense mechanism because she didn't know how to deal with it. Okay, I got to get going pretty soon. It was, thank you, everyone. It's been a very successful 2 days. Kind of weird the way it turned out, but it turned out the way it was supposed to be, and I got this beautiful new shirt. Look, we got all our buddies here. We got Dumbo, we got the castle, we've got, I can't see here, that's the carousel with Chippendale, or the rocket here. Anyhow, I got this new shirt and I got this new bag. Oh, we gotta do it from this way. Okay? Look, isn't it beautiful? The color red, it's the same motif. So, I gotta get going pretty soon. So, I guess it turned out a little bit weird also, but I guess I was where I was supposed to be. I guess I was supposed to get this shirt today, not the one with Mickey from Fantasia, from the original Fantasia. I guess that's next time. I want to thank everyone for watching my recordings and my trip. And it's been a trip because I thought I was going to do it one way, but then it's another way, but it's almost like God's way of saying, no, you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be here. So I guess it turned out the way it was supposed to be. Again, depending on how fast I can slap together some songs and some colos, I'm going to be, normally last year I did it on my birthday where I was singing, but for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. So to try, as soon as I can slap a few things together over the next 4 days, by the end of the week, I want to do some more performing and some more singing. Anyhow, I almost got to get going, but I will say this. Party C, if this is the situation, no problem. If this is what this insanity has been all about over the past decades, that as my aunt would say, it was more like a gridlock, like a gridlock, like there was no communication on. But okay, I already said that. And then Frank, and then she says Frank, being the devil that he was, would be stirring up, seeing all the confusion and the insanity, and then he would be stirring the pot, and then acting in the name of God. Okay, like thus saith the Lord, and then you can't fight City Hall. So anyhow, that we want to keep things a little bit simple, but I will say this. Party C, please communicate with me, please. If this is what this insanity has been all about, but I have really not been told this. All I have been told was it's a demon, it's an evil spirit, it's an idol, it's an obsession. Oh, Catherine took care of the counseling. Catherine took care of that whole situation. Catherine was mom, dad, the doctor, the psychiatrist, the crisis intervention counselor, the deliverance minister, Dr. Phil, the whole thing. So that took care of that situation. But again, all of that was because not knowing how to deal with it, it was a defense mechanism. Okay, I got to get going home. I think I said everything that I wanted to say. And God bless you. Good night. Got to go home.